Good morning, everyone. Great to be here. My name is Bill Collins from the University of Reading in the UK. My manager, my PI on this project is John Lawton, and the title of the paper is Mobilising BIM in a Collaborative Project Environment. So this, if you've read the paper, it's a very descriptive paper. It's telling a story about a specific project in the UK. There's not any clever theory in there or difficult concepts. It's just kind of telling the story about this project, which is still going on at the moment in the UK. Okay, so I'm going to start with a quotation from Professor Greenwood, who said last year, the last 50 years have shown you're not going to get collaboration or partnership without full process integration, because people have to protect their legal position. You can't expect some whiz-bang system to force people to integrate. So with that quotation in mind, as we go through the presentation, it's very pertinent to what we're going to discuss. Okay, so the project itself is called the Alliance 2 project in the UK. It's an Innovate UK supported trial project. Now, Innovate UK used to be called Technology Strategy Board in the UK, which is a kind of a government agency that supports projects because they're innovative or they're doing some kind of research. So they're supporting this project for the use of IPI, which is Integrated Project Insurance. Dudley College is the client, and there's 5 different alliance partners involved in this project. The IPI model itself is completely new, so it creates a virtual company, it eliminates silo waste, theoretically. There's a no-blame, no-claim culture with latent defects cover. There's enhanced BIM use, independent facilitation and risk assurance. It's a cost-effective procurement program and process. The cost overrun cover is covered through the IPI policy, and it's theoretically SME, small, medium-sized enterprise, business-friendly. It's ideal for frameworks and serial alliances. So, because it brings the principal project partners together, theoretically, from a BIM perspective, it should be better, because it removes those contractual boundaries which often stop the information flow through the project. So some brief background about the project, as you might well know if you know about the UK construction industry. We've had a lot of reports, the Latham report, the Egan report, that talks about construction being inefficient. There needs to be improvements, there needs to replicate the manufacturing industry by improving the processes. And we've got here some recent Construction 2025 reports, a general government construction strategy as well, and National Infrastructure Delivery Plan 2016-2021, which all talk about improving projects and improving the performance of projects. And digital information is seen to be absolutely essential to achieve that. So this Innovate UK project is all part of that, really. It's called Delivering More for Less under the IPI model. As I said, it's a Dudley College Advanced 2 project. It's the first trial of IPI in the UK, so this is a completely new kind of project setup. There's targeted savings of between 15 and 20% on the cost, with savings on time as well. And the project really is trying to show that it's much better than the traditional way of doing projects, because it's a trial and they want to be more projects that use the IPI system. Just for information, there's 2 other kinds of projects which are also being trialled at the moment through Innovate UK. That's 2-stage open book and cost-led procurement. But the IPI one, I think, is more interesting, it's more comprehensive in its scope and aims. This is a project timeline. It started in 2014. The notice went out to OJU notice. These are different stages in the project process. IPI doesn't use the REBA plan of work. It's a completely new way of doing the project. And as I speak, the building is being completed, so it needs to be open in September. So they're very busy at the moment, as you'd expect, finishing the project. Just some information about the location. Dudley, it's in the West Midlands, near Birmingham, if you've been there. So this new building is part of a complex. There's already some existing buildings on the site. So the two main components, really, of this project is the alliance contract. The alliance contract joins together the client, the architect, the structural engineers, the building services supplier, the designer and the project coordinator together in a joined way. So there's a collective interest to work for the best for the project. So if one partner doesn't perform very well, everybody suffers. So we have the alliance contract and we have the IPI insurance policy. The insurance policy brings all the parties together. We also have a project bank account, which has been a bit problematic to set up, but that's another innovation on this project. And there's some information here about the financial workings of the project, which you might not be interested in, but this kind of shows the collective idea behind IPI. So we have a shared interest, a gain share. If there is a positive outcome from this project, so in other words, if it comes in below budget, below time, there's a gain share which is attached to the success criteria. And I can speak about that more if you wish with people at the conference. And these are the main partners, which I mentioned before. And it's been collaborative from the very start, so everybody's been working together from the briefing stage all the way through. Working groups were set up on the project, including one on BIM. You can see it there somewhere in the list. But of course BIM really embraces all aspects of a construction project. So the big aims for the project, because of its setup, was to operationalise a fully BIM-centric system, to achieve BIM Level 2, and to embrace as many alliance partners as possible, as well as many suppliers as possible. So the paper talks more about what happened on the project. The expertise was identified, so only one partner had the expertise, the BIM expertise, to really take this forward. And one of the insights from the paper is that in a collaborative environment, a project that aims to do very well through BIM, the onus of the work will fall on the partner with the BIM expertise. So we have here the subgroup was established, roles, responsibilities, meetings were commenced with a BEP formulation, four projects was used as the common data environment. Now this information delivery cycle was set up by the information manager. So this was to be followed by each of the partners, had to follow this schedule of activities starting on the Friday. So they had to upload their models to the common data environment, and then it would be federated. And then this process had to be followed very closely by all partners. And this is an insight from the project that sometimes people don't follow the rules or they don't follow what they're supposed to do. So in a collaborative environment, we see that working practices are very important and people needing to follow the rules of what to do, essentially. Otherwise, there are problems. So the evolving 4D model was linked to the construction program. There was design in a day, building a day workshops, which brought all the people together in one room to look at the model on the screen, to discuss issues, to identify the work. So that was very beneficial. The REBA plan of work was inappropriate, as I said, but as a result of that, that meant a lot of work for the BIM manager to look at the project and how to do things. And the training of the alliance partners with BIM knowledge was absolutely important as well. And there's some quotations here I've drawn from the paper. Trying to get the teams to do proper information delivery and management has been difficult. The industry is resistant to change and embracing new ways of working. So we've got some problems here from the project, which are discussed in the paper if you're interested. Management talking about BIM needs to translate into resources on the ground. They need to pay people resource costs to do it. And we have another quote here, core capability around the BIM tools has cost the project. So just things like training the people up on how to use the system, they were resistant to doing that, etc., etc. There's more information in the paper for you. And there's briefly here some benefits. There were lots of benefits of using it. So for example, orders were placed from the BIM model, the crane for the site was ordered from the BIM model, reduced specifications, all these kind of things we read about in the literature, some of them did come to fruition on the project. And there are lessons here as well. I've mentioned some of them. Suppliers might be resistant to using BIM, they're not used to it. Therefore, we need some incentivization to get the suppliers on board with using BIM. What does that translate into, etc., etc. And mobilizing BIM is a complex and difficult undertaking. So, just to end, I'd like to say, the paper is just telling a story really so far. It's not a deep analysis of what's going on, but there's lots of issues there that have come through, and there's lots of potential there to really get to grips with what BIM means in reality when it's mobilised in a collaborative project environment. And also, the collaboration has been, the IPI insurance has been essential really, because that's brought the parties together and removed the contractual barriers to working. So thank you very much.
Questions and comments? We have 3 minutes.